Okay, so let's review and go over what indirect object pronouns are. Okay, indirect objects, they answer the question to or for who is the action, okay? ¿Para quién or para quién es la acción? If the action is for me, you're going to use me. If it's for you, singular second person, te. For formal, you, usted, es le. Él, ella have the same indirect object pronoun, le. Nosotros es nos. Ustedes es les. And ellos and ellas is les. So notice how they are different from direct object pronouns, where in usted and él and ella, you have to consider the gender, okay, the grammatical gender of the object. Not with indirect object pronouns, okay? Now, I put a little the chart here so we can remember, okay? Me is to me or for me, they for you, etc. Okay, so an indirect object is almost always a person, okay, that is indirectly affected by the action of the verb. Let's see how this looks in English. Paco gave the book to me. In this case, me is the indirect object, okay? What did Paco give? The book, okay? The book is the direct object of this sentence. To whom? Okay, it was to me. So that's the indirect object. Now let's see how we can say this in Spanish. Okay. Paco, okay. Me, right? That means to me. Dio, okay. He gave. El libro. Paco me dio el libro. Okay. It is important to distinguish direct objects from indirect objects because it'll make, when you need to replace these with the pronoun, you will know which pronoun to use. Okay, so remember, for direct objects, you're going to ask what, okay, after that verb. What did Paco give? The book. To whom is going to give you the indirect object of that sentence. Okay. An indirect object indicates to or for whom an action is carried out. Okay, let's remember that. An indirect object can also be used to indicate from whom something is bought, borrowed, or taken away. And in English, these relationships are simply expressed with prepositions. I'll send the book to Alfredo. I'll take the book for Alfredo. I'll buy the book from Alfredo. Now in Spanish, that to, for, and from are all expressed with an indirect object pronoun and the single preposition a. The verb and the situational context will clarify whether this a represents to, for, or from. Okay, let's take a look. So I'll send the book to Alfredo, right? To him. So the indirect object pronoun is going to be le, okay? Le mando el libro a Alfredo. Le quito el libro a Alfredo. Le compro el libro a Alfredo. Okay. In the repetition of le, with Alfredo may seem redundant, but Spanish grammar requires the co occurrence of the indirect object pronoun and the indirect object itself, unless the latter, right, has already been established in the conversation or is understood. Okay. Now, where do we put them? You may have noticed here how the indirect object pronoun is before the conjugated verb. Okay. So we can put it antes del verbo conjugado, before the conjugated verb. Él me habla a mí. He talks. He talks to me. Okay. You can put it después, after, y pegado, attached to the infinitive. Okay. An infinitive is an unconjugated verb. Okay. Tienes que hablar. Okay. Hablar is in its infinitive form. Now, is it you have to talk to him or to her? We don't know, right? But they both have the same pronoun, the same indirect object pronoun. Tienes que hablarle. And now, if it needs to be clarified to who, you can say, tienes que hablarle a él, o a Carlos, a Rosa, you know, you will have to include that indirect object. Le tienes que hablar. Okay. Le tienes que hablar. Después y pegado al participio. So you can put it after and attached to the participle. Okay. Estoy hablando. Again, if it's a él or a ella, it's going to be le. And if you attach it to the participle, you will need to put an accent to where the natural stress was before you attached the pronoun. Okay. So, le estoy hablando, right? Just a quick review of accent rules. So, remember, if a word ends in a vowel, N or S, the natural stress is going to be in the second to last vowel. Okay? Hablando. Okay. Now, if we attach this le, the rule tells us that now the stress is going to be here, right? In the second to last. But we don't want that. We want to keep that same stress where it used to be. And so we're going to mark an accent on that A to know that that's where the stress is. Estoy hablándole. Okay. Se puede aclarar cuál es el objeto indirecto con a en pronombre preposicional. Okay, so you can clarify which is the indirect object with a in the prepositional pronoun. Le hablé al mesero, pero no me oyó. Le hablé a él una y otra vez, pero no me oye. Okay, and this is where you hopefully try to do this on your own. If you haven't paused this, try to do them on your own. See if you can get them right, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to show you the answers. Hey, how did you do? Okay, same here. Pause first and then go over the answers. Okay, so for here, yo le hago muchas preguntas a la gente de viaje sobre Santo Domingo. Okay, so in here you are going to have the direct objects in parentheses, okay? Okay, then pause. If you're ready to see the answers, press play. Eso es todo.